Tito Puente is by far the person that single-handedly did more for the Afro-Cuban or the salsa movement than anybody else. Funny story, actually, when it comes to using the word salsa, and we all call it salsa music now. That's just what's been established. But salsa music was actually, the history of that word is actually created by a record label, really, as a way to, put everything into a genre and call it salsa. But Tito Puente actually hated that word. He didn't like the word salsa. He considered himself, he played mambo music. He didn't play salsa music. He said, I play mambo, I eat salsa. For lack of a better term and all that, everybody's kind of stuck with salsa. That's the thing that everybody calls it now. So Tito Puente is, like I said, one of the biggest legends in the world. He's enormous, an enormous recording artist. Recorded over 100 CDs. And if you really think about it, think about how many CDs you see of some of your favorite bands. 10, 15, maybe if they've been a long time, maybe 20. He recorded over 100. So that's a long career of recording CDs. And he would say he had a recording career of 50 years. That means he put out 2 recordings a year on the average, which is a lot of recordings. Very prolific. He started a long time ago. He's part of the movement in the 40s and in the 50s in New York. He's from New York. He was born in Spanish Harlem in New York, and he was a big fan of jazz in his early days, and specifically the big band drummers of that time. He's a big fan of Gene Krupa, who had his own band, and he was a world famous drummer. And he thought to himself, that's what I want to do in Latin music. I want to do what Gene Krupa does in jazz. I want to do it in Latin music. I want to be the leader of the band, even though I'm a percussionist. I want to be the leader of the band. And I want to bring to the forefront the timbal, which is the instrument he played, as the instrument that led my band. And so that's when he started his band, Tito Puente, the group, the Mambo Kings, and performing in New York, all over New York, most notably being part of the revolution and the evolution of the Palladium in New York. He was one of 3 groups that played there: Tito Puente, then Tito Rodriguez, and then Machito. And they were considered the big 3, and they were always in competition with themselves for the crowds and all that. But just that friendly rivalry and competition just made that point in time in New York, and with that music, just a very, very special time. Tito Puente himself, because of his arranging skills and his drumming skills and all that, he just kept rising and rising in popularity, and just really redefined things for everybody. And Tito Puente kept going with his career and building and building and building his career, and he's one of the most well-known representatives of this area. Almost everybody, even if they don't know much about salsa music, almost everyone has heard of Tito Puente. His most well-known song that a lot of people don't even know is his song. We're doing it with Tito Puente Jr. We're opening his part of the show with that. Is Oye Como Va. He wrote that song a long time ago. That's his song. It was made famous by Santana. Everybody knows Santana's version. People didn't know that was Tito Puente. Didn't know that was a Tito Puente song forever and ever and ever. And Tito Puente would always be kind of, annoyed by that. It's like, Santana, that's that Santana song. And he's like, well, I wrote it. At first he was annoyed by it, but then when he started receiving the royalty checks, he became a Santana fan. That's what he said. Tito Puente is an enormous artist, and his son keeping up the legacy and being a part of that and trying to keep his father's name and the history of his music and the music alive is just a great thing that he's doing for the memory of his father, and we're excited to have it.